Hi everyone, it's AFI and welcome back to my channel. On this episode, we're going to be talking about individuality, your personality, what defines you. What are the qualities that people can attribute to you as a definition of who you are. So your individuality is about what singles you out as you, the qualities that you possess. It's also qualities that you show to other people that can be used as descriptive words of who you are. It's what singles you out as you. It's all about your personality. What are your likes, your dislikes, your hobbies? What do you spend your time on? What are the things you do during your free time? What are your values? What do you put first? What kind of friends do you have? What visions, what dreams do you have for yourself? Things about you that tells us, oh, this is who this person is. It describes this is what this person is. It gives a definition of who this person is. A couple of times I've asked some of my friends this question: how well do you know yourself? And a lot of them, they tell me, oh, of course I do know myself. But there are certain questions that I asked them and they actually had to think about it before giving me a response. And they said, oh, it helped me actually realize more about myself. I'm going to be linking those questions on this video, so stay with me as we go forward. It's important that you know that self-image is necessary while working in self discovery, while building up your individuality. Why is this important? Self image can be a definition of how you see yourself. It is also a definition of how you present yourself to others. And then it's also the interpretation that others have from the image you've presented, and also the interpretation that others have from how they see you. So you see that self image has different ways which it works. But the major thing you should be looking on should be how you see yourself and what you present for others to see. That should be your main focus. And then what others interpret or what they see you as shouldn't be your main focus. If you have put in the effort and put in the work to make sure that the way you see yourself, the way you perceive yourself, the definition you have of yourself is what you are putting in front, is what you're presenting to people, is how you are living your life, and how you making sure you follow those rules, those priorities, those qualities that you define yourself as. Then you don't have to be bothered about how others see you. This is where you can confidently say, oh, I don't care how others see me. Because if you already have a definition of who you are, and then you are living as that person, putting that image in front, you should be less bothered about how others see you. So that is what we're going to dig on today: how you see yourself. What do you see yourself as? Who do you see yourself as? Remember, on our last episode, we talked about our spiritual being, the source of where we came from. If you've not watched that video, I reckon you do, because this would help position you in the right directions towards discovering yourself and creating a new path for yourself. So, having watched that episode, you can confidently tell yourself, this is who I am, this is who I want to be. Oh, this is the vision that I have for myself. And the next thing is to start living as that vision that you have of yourself. I'm not telling you to live as a facade. I'm saying that if you've written down, if you've made a picture of who you want to be, you've written down lots of things. Oh, I'm this person, I'm a calm person, I'm someone who my emotion doesn't control, I'm someone who is regular with my church activities, I'm someone who is career oriented, I'm family oriented. This is what I want to achieve at this point in time. This is what I want to be spending most of my time on. This is the kind of people I want to be with. This is the kind of people I want to have in my life. Next is to start presenting that image to the world. When you do that, don't be bothered about what they are seeing or what they think. As long as you know what you see, you have that picture in you, you know it yourself, this is who you are, this is who you envision yourself to be, and you present that image. You shouldn't be bothered about what they are thinking, what they are saying. Just focus on you. Focus on you. Focus on the personality. Focus on the individuality. Focus on the being. Focus on the vessel that carries the Spirit of God and then is on earth to live. After answering this question and starting to live and put that image right in the front, it is necessary that you as well are living morally right to the characteristics of a vessel that embodies the Spirit of God. Because there are certain qualities and distinctive characters that we are meant to possess. We are meant to have love, be peaceful, be gentle, slow to anger, to live at peace with all men if it's within our power. We need to live according to the Spirit, according to the will of God, and not just by our own will. Now, before you go ahead to answer those questions that you've taken a screenshot of, there are certain factors that can alterate the way we see ourselves or that can alterate the person we can become. And these are factors that I call external factors. They are quite common, but then sometimes we don't know that they hold so much power and capability or ability to either lift us up or bring us down. And one of those factors would be family. Yeah, the family where you're brought up, where you were born, is one of the training grounds for every person, for every being. It is where we learn cultures, it is where we learn characters, it is where we learn values, it is where we learn attitudes. But then, most of us were opportune to grow up in a loving and a beautiful and non toxic family, while some of us were not opportune to grow up in that environment, in such families, and we grew up in some toxic families. Sometimes we might not even know if we grew up in a toxic or in a non-toxic family because you can't put a definition to it. How I'll give you an example of how family, of how the way we are trained can actually affect the way we see ourselves. Back when I was still growing up, in my primary to secondary to junior secondary, whenever I came home with a good result, my mom would always buy me a gift of my choice, or take me out to an eatery to have ice cream, meat pie with my siblings. But particularly, it's because of she came home with a good result or someone came home with good results. That is the reason we were awarded for the results we come home with. And then she tells me, you can do much, much better. You're doing good. You're doing that. Those words, it's one of the things that has helped me build my self esteem, my confidence in myself. Let's talk about a friend whose case is otherwise. So this friend doesn't come home with good grades. So and when they do get home with grades that are not up to the expectations of their parents, what do they say? You are dull. You are you always come last or second to last. You can't go anywhere with this result. You're wasting money paying your fees when you're supposed to be doing well. What were you doing when your mates were first, second, third? What were you doing? So they talk down on this person. As we grew up, they did not have this confidence in themselves. Whenever it came to something to do with thinking, with the brain, they feel like, oh, they can't amount to it, they can't do it. Up to this stage, when we had a conversation and they came up with that same narrative that, oh, I'm not good. I said, no, 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 no. Don't do that. Don't sell yourself short. Just because someone, while you were growing up, said to you, "Oh, you're dormant. You can go further than this," or wasting money on your fees, it doesn't mean that is who you are. And you've let those words grow in your head. They've sent thoughts in your mind, and now you accepted it wholeheartedly. That Emeka, Pechiri, that's not how we do it here. So looking at these two situations, you can see how your family member, your mom, your dad, your siblings, your distant cousin, your aunt, your uncle can manipulate the way you see yourself, can manipulate the personality, the definition of what you are, the definition of how you see yourself. I really need you to know that you have the choice. Listen, you have the power. It is one of the power that God gave to man. It is the power to make choices on how their life would go, power to make decisions. Because God can tell you this is the way. He said it. This is the way that leads to life, way that leads to death. And it is up to you to pick. But if you were to tell me, I'd advise you to pick life. So listen, God has given us the power to make choices on how we want our lives to go. I need you to take that power in your hands and put off every negative effect that family, the background you came from, has put in you. Listen, those characters of being selfish, jealous, envious, it did not just spring out from you. It is not who you are. It is something you've learned while you were growing up. So it is time to cut off those nastiness. It is time to cut off those negativity. It is not the definition of a vessel that is carrying the Spirit of God. It is not the definition of a positive being. You are not living as that person that you are meant to be. You are not exploring your full potential because of what your aunt, your uncle, what they have done to you while you were growing up, what they have said to you. Oh, you can amount to nothing. You can't be anything. You can't be of any help. Hello, I don't have the power to write my story. Only God has the power to write my story. But then I have the power to choose if I wanted to go that way or not. Yes, because God can write our story, but because we choose to live differently, we're going to live in a different way. We're going to live a different story entirely. So you have the power to make choices. So because your auntie defines you, you are not going to live as her definition. You are not going to live as what she has defined you to be. You need to live as who you see yourself. You need to live as who you define yourself, not by the definition of others. Never, ever, ever limit yourself based on the definition of others. Listen, you are the only one that can limit yourself. I tell you the truth. We are the only one individually that has the power to limit ourselves. I know there are different circumstances that can come up. There are different manipulations that can come up. There are different uncertainties of life. But then there are ways to all of these things as well. It's important. So if you're grooming your family, if you're still a child or if you're still around children, please be mindful of what you're passing on to them, of the characters, of the words. You know, encourage them. Speak life into children. Speak life into people, not just children. Because even as adults, we still learn. But at least as adults, we have the choice to filter things. But as a child, no, everything is just going in. So please take heed to the words, the ways that you move and groom around kids. So please take the power of your choices. Take the power of making the decision on how it should go. Take the power of making the decision of this is who I am. This is who I am going to be. Don't let the words of that auntie or your mom be the you that the earth, that the world has to see, that the earth, that the world has to witness. Be the you that you want you to be. Be the you that God wants you to be. Be the you that you are destined to be. Next factor would be environment. It is the same way when family can affect your life, same way as environment, the environment where you grow. That's why it's easy to say, oh, this person grew up from a violent environment because he's acting that way. You know, the environmental tag and the definition that environment gives to most of us is the reason why we are living in certain type of way. But remember that you have the power to make decision. You have the power to make choices on how you want your life to go. Just because you're coming from an environment that is not so suiting or calming, it doesn't mean you should be a violent person. It doesn't mean you can't be a calm person. It doesn't mean you can be a soft person. And I hear people say, "Oh, it's because of where I came from, or that's why I'm behaving this way. It's because of the street where I grew. Do you know the street where I grew up? That's why I have to be this way." No, you don't have to be that way if you don't want to be that way. Make a change. Like you have it in your hands. It's in your hands. It's the power that God has given to you. So make a change. Use that power. And with the direction of God, even Abraham, God said to Abraham, you need to leave your father's house. You need to leave that environment. All of the blessings and the promises that we know that God gave to Abraham, they only started when Abraham left his father's house, when Abraham left his environment. Now, the Bible did not tell us if the environment was quite toxic, if it was a violent environment, if it was a soft environment, if it was a rich environment, or an urban area, a rural area. We don't know that. But we know that God said to Abraham, leave your father's house. And when he left, his whole life turned around. So it's not just all about where you live. It might be your workplace, it might be relationship, friendship. I don't know if there is somewhere where you know is it's hindering you, it's limiting you, it's taking so much energy from you. If it's a group, if it's social media, whatever it is, and it is draining your energy or it is making you be who you are not meant to be, leave that environment, leave that place, leave that person, leave that friendship. It's not quite easy, but there are sacrifices and there are decisions that are hard, but we still need to make them. We still need to take those decisions just so we can live life to the fullest. If you keep seeing yourself as the boy that grew up in the hood, I have the talent to play ball. But when I go to the pitch for training, I'm not going to be selected because my parents are not wealthy enough. If you keep having that mentality, then it might as well be who you are. But if you see yourself as my talent would speak for me, when you get to that pitch, of course, you're going to make sure that you use your talents to the extent where it speaks for you. And whoever is making the decision to pick this person or to pick the person has no choice other than to take you because you've proven that you've got the talent. So do not let your environment limit you. Don't let it bring you down. Don't let it hinder you. Don't let it drain all of the good energy in you. Do you know that like people can take out so much energy from you that you don't know who you are anymore? Don't let it get to that point. You can be in a relationship that drains the good out of you, and all is just left is the part where the devil comes to play. Don't let that be your story. Please take the power of your choices, make that decision, cut off, shut down, put out, delete, delete it, delete it. Don't let the world, don't let the environment, don't let the hood, don't let the street, don't let the foundation drain you. Don't let it define you. Don't let it limit you. Even if it's going to define you, let it be in a positive way. Pick up the positives, use the filter option, pick up the positives and dispose of the negatives. That's one advice I can give to you. And the next factor, friends. People would say, oh, my friends really don't matter. It doesn't matter who I hang out with. It does. It doesn't matter who I hang out with. It doesn't really count. It does count. The friends who you spend time with, they can as well impact in your life positively, negatively. Listen, you and I know there are certain things that we do or we've done that if anyone would tell us, oh, you would have done this, you wouldn't believe it. But all of those happen because of the impact from our friends, from peer groups. We might not be aware of when those impacts actually happened, but it did happen, and we collected some transferable traits. If you're quite observant, when you spend time, like when you spend time regularly with someone, you are prone to adapting either the way they laugh, or the way they say things, or the words they use, or the way they dress, the way they move. Like, there's definitely something you're going to take from that person, whether you are aware of it or not, whether you want to or not. Just like unintentionally, you can start laughing the way the person does, and then you realize and say, and when you realize it, why am I laughing like this person? Or why am I acting like this person? Or why am I speaking like this person? Yeah. It is the same way we can learn characters. It is the same way we can learn things from our friends that can deviate us, that has the ability to deviate us from who we are meant to be. So that is why it is important to pick your friends wisely, because the more you spend time with them, the most likely you are to adapt certain behaviors from them. There is a reason why there is a particular friend that your parents are always happy when they come around or when they see them, because they believe, oh, this person has some positive characters that my child can learn. And there are some that they are not happy when they see them around you, because they believe that, oh, there are characters, there are qualities that my child can learn from them. So it is important to pick your friends wisely and use the power of your choices. Use the filter option, filter the negatives, filter them off, and keep the positive. Add it to the vision you have of yourself. Add it to the definition you have of yourself. Add it to that new being you're creating. Add it to that new identity you're creating. Add it to that new you are creating. And crown it all with God. And I tell you, the sky is just going to be your starting point. Really, really. We have the choice. We have the power to make choices. Use that power properly and make a massive, a good, a straight, a precise, a clear decision about who you are and who you want to be, and start living as that person. And this is going to be the end of this video on your personality and your individuality. I hope to see you on the next episode, where we're going to talk about mindsets, because a being is composed of spirit, body, and mind. We need to talk about these three things to make sure that we're in balance with who we are. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.